The Indiana Super Bowl continues from the State Fair Grounds Coliseum here in Indianapolis. And as you indicated earlier, Army, this is one of the noisiest motorsports of all, and we're indoors to boot. Young lady and a young guy protecting the ears right there as we're looking at 3 Hemis. I love the name of this tractor. That's what you have when you're involved in motorsports. Empty pockets.
I agree with you. You're going to be we're talking about sound. You're going to hear a different sound now. We've been listening to the sound of Chevrolet and Rodak engines. They all sound their own decibel level. Now you're going to roll into the Chrysler horsepower. It has a different kind of horsepower sound to it, more of a deep rumble. Plus, this guy's going to go after that young lady with only 3 engines.
Well, there's Alvin. There's his brother, his crew chief, but Dan Gertie. Oh, he has a good run going. Can he do it?
The weight box topped out right at the end. Gary, is going to be close.
Let's wait for the official word. There it is. Yeah. It is a full pull. That means we'll have a pull-off here at the Indiana State Fairgrounds.
Boy, he was just muscling a horsepower. We're going back on board with him. Picks the front end up. For all intents and purposes, the steering wheel, he can throw it out at this point. He's steering with the feet. Feet out of the water, up and going. A good straight run, Gary Lee. He almost made it look easy.
Army, I think it's interesting how much we can see from that sled cam. We can see some moisture in the track that helps hold the track together, give these guys some traction. As we look at Bob Jostock, he is getting staged. Let's go back trackside now with Dan Gertie after his full pull.
Dan, you know you're going to a pull-off against this young lady. She made a great run. You made a great run, but you had a lot of smoke in the front motor on the right side at the end. Does that affect you at all?
I don't know. I'll have to go check it out real quick.
Other than that, though, everything's looking good?
Looks good.
We'll see you in the pull-off.
We'll be back.
That could be some very expensive smoke when it comes to tractor pulling. All right, Bob Jostock is up next. He's out of Lapeer, Michigan. He drives a tractor he calls Wild Child, featuring 4 Chevrolet engines.
You notice these drivers that are coming up, Gary, they're from different parts of the country. Well, the Indy Super Bowl, you actually have to qualify for it through the NTPA point system. That's why these people are literally coming from all over America to run this event. That adds to the prestige of the Indy Super Bowl.
Well, he won't be too happy with that, Army, at 2:02.11. Not a very good pull for Bob. Let's take a look again. You can see the weight that he has hanging on the front of the tractor. Now, once again, it's a judgment call. They read the track, try to redistribute the weight, and obviously the weight was just not right for Bob.
It's a balancing game at best.
And Army, when you talk about the different sounds that these engines make, how about this combination right here?
Man, this is a sound that anybody who's in Korea or the Second World War, they know what Richard Ziegler has for horsepower. 1,712 cubic inches times 2 on alcohol, fat motor. Look at the flames coming out. Now, when he starts his runs, those flames will disappear.
These are Allison engines.
Yeah,
2 Allison
aircraft engines.
They call it the P-38 tractor. Let's see if he can fly out of here. Well, he spins the tires. Oh, burps some flames and a 2:01.10. Not a very good run.
The motor's really fattened up when they got down to the end.
From Allison aircraft engines back to Chevrolets. And this is Joe Eder as they are firing up Chevy Thunder. But right now, let's go back trackside, and I think that Richard Ziegler is down there with Army Armstrong.
Richard, when you finish a run like that, those engines are so historic and everything, and so many people like them because they belch that awful flame out of there. What causes that?
It's excess fuel that's just sitting in the exhaust pipes when you back out of the throttle.
So it's not hurting the engine at all, it just kind of looks neat.
No, it's actually good for the motor to have the fuel in it so it starts to cool down again because they're running on methanol.
A look once again at Joe Eder out of North Collins, New York, in Chevy Thunder. Once again, 4 Chevrolet engines, and these things cost, what, about $20,000-$25,000 a piece?
Yeah, that's including the supercharger, the blower belts, and drives, and all that stuff. Yeah, you're talking a good $25,000 a pop here. $100,000 worth of engines. Let's see if it's going to work. I think he may have missed the weight, Gary.
Well, Army, I noticed he only has 1 weight on the far left-hand side of the front of that tractor, and he pulled it well up in the air about mid-range, and a very short run for Joe Eder.
So, in layman's terms or in sports terms, he did, in fact, miss the weight. If he had more weight on the front, he could have held the front end down, maybe kept it a little bit straighter. A little bit wiser after that run.
How many times has a driver said, if I could only have that run over again? Well, Doesn't happen here. Oh, look at this exotic contraption here.
Now, this guy runs the Allison engines with twin turbos. Wayne Longnecker is going to come out, and he will flat drill you to the wall. He puts more abuse on these engines than anybody I've seen, and they've got such a unique sound.
Allison aircraft engines, twin turbocharged. Well, let's watch if we have that characteristic belch of flames at the end of the run. He's going to fall well short. And there it is. Now, they just turned the lights down here in the Coliseum and let that thing flame out like that.
Everybody in the grandstand knows what to look for when the Allison's finish up.
Looks like a turbine.
But yeah, it's the same principle as the turbine. The guys, you know, turbines have been in this sport for many, many years. These guys have been playing, making a whole lot of horsepower with them. But like they say, that Allison's run so much fuel through, just keep burning.
Well, our final puller should be Robert Dabrowski, and there they are hooking up the sled right now to Stinger. And Robert Dabrowski also will be sporting 2 Allisons. He's out of Marlboro, New Hampshire.
And he runs a side-mounted Allisons. Again, now his motors are fat. The flames will go away when he puts them under load, right? So he's using the fuel in the engine now. All that fuel's flowing through. 1,710 cubic inches is flowing through. But when it stops, the fuel keeps flowing. Let's see if we get flames again.
Yeah, we have the flames, but we have a short, well, only by a few inches, though, 23.6. So we'll end up with 2 in a pull-off as we take a look once again at Robert Dabrowski and Stinger with the 2 Allisons.
So the side-by-side setup seemed to work for the Allisons. They're making a good horsepower, but it came down to only 2, the girls against the guys, when we go to the final pull-off, Gary.
Army, you're right. We've had 2 full pulls in this sport. That dictates a pull-off. So Judy Nipstein from Fort Wayne, Indiana, in the Kelly Chevrolet Special goes up against Albion, Indiana's Daniel Gertie in empty pockets for the pull-off. We're at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. We'll come back for the Hoosier Showdown in just a moment.